Some of you have been here a while now and might know that I'm a pretty lazy man. But how on earth can you have a healthy diet that's also easy and convenient? Well, if you live in the US, it is your lucky day because I've got the perfect solution for you. Factor offers you the chance to get fresh, ready-made meals delivered directly to your doorstep. They're never frozen, they're full of high quality ingredients and packed with nutritional value too. It even offers meals for those following different lifestyles and diets. So what are you waiting for? Go and click that lovely link at the top of the description now. You'll get plenty of money off your first order with Factor and some off the few after too. You'd be a fool to miss out on an opportunity like that. Well, it's time to start a very busy month for this channel as the playoffs begin in the EFL and National League, and we start today with two games that will be taking place on Tuesday and Wednesday night. They are the National League playoff eliminators. For anyone not familiar with the format now, 2nd to 7th make the playoffs rather than just the 4 teams that it used to be, and the bottom 4 of those 6 go head to head for the right to play against 2nd or 3rd. So on this occasion, we have got Woking, Barnet, Boreham Wood and Bromley. That's the order they finished in the table. It is 4th v 7th, 5th v 6th, one-legged ties, and the home advantage goes to the team that finished higher in the league. And the places changed hands on the final day of the season. 6th and 7th swapped, which means we've got different fixtures to what we may have expected. But either way, they're going to be very exciting. And hopefully, I'm going to be at one of them if all goes to plan. So let's go and get into our score predictions for both as they play for the right to face Chesterfield and Notts County in the semi-finals at the weekend. They will both take place on Sunday, and of course we'll have a preview of them later this week. But for now, let's go and get into our first fixture, which is on Tuesday night, and it is 5th versus 6th, and it has worked out very tastily. Because this is a local derby, just a few bus stops separating them and 3 or 4 miles between the grounds. It is Barnet versus Boreham Wood. It's got a very local in and around London feel this playoff eliminator week. Barnet versus Boreham Wood is a massive game. Both sides played off in the local festive fixtures and my word, they were feisty earlier this season. Barnet having a brilliant season after what was a few disappointing years, I think it's fair to say. They've really picked up under Dean Brennan and it's become a good match because his career had just started to wane a bit after leaving Hemel for Billericay just before the disaster set in. That was in their little crazy period a few years ago. But at Barnet, it has all gone to plan. They have made the playoffs. They have been far better than they had for many recent years. They've been fluent goal scorers, 75 in the league this year. And you know what? They fully deserve their place in the playoffs. They've got a great goal scorer in Nicky Kabamba. They've not been in brilliant form coming into the playoffs, but they're a side that have sort of known they've been there for a while and have been almost over the line. So it's been a case of maybe having one eye on the playoffs, and as a result, they've only won one of their last 6. A lot of draws in there. 2-0-0s, 2-1-1s, albeit one of those draws was against Wrexham on TV. And on the final day, they lost to Dagenham and Redbridge, who did miss out on the playoffs. But if we look at the season overall, Barnet have been absolutely excellent. 5th best home record in the league. Ironically, they score less goals at home than they do away, but they've also got a better defensive record there. I go back to these 2 games that they played against each other though, because Boreham Wood have had another brilliant season, continue to defy the odds. But they played on Boxing Day, and it was one of the feistiest clashes of the season. We have 3 red cards, 2 of them for Boreham Wood. The last one came in the 94th minute. Kabamba had actually been sent off for Barnet as well. But Boreham Wood went down to 9, and then Barnet scored in the 95th minute to win the game. Boreham Wood sort of got revenge on New Year's Day, holding Barnet to a 1-1 draw. But Boreham Wood are very well known for being incredibly tight and stingy at the back. Lots of people remember that incredible cup run last season. This season they got to the 3rd round as well. We were there at the Accrington Stanley game, which you can find in the eye above. And we were at the 3rd round last year against AFC Wimbledon too. And all being well, I'll be at this game watching Barnet v Boreham Wood. It's just a hop on a train to either one. But for Boreham Wood, it's very much a different season. The lowest scorers in that top 10. But look at their defensive record. 40 goals conceded. Less than 1 a game. The best in the National League. Better than Wrexham. Better than Notts County. They are so well set up. Luke Garrard has done an incredible job on what is a relatively small budget. And going away from home might not be the disadvantage you think here. Boreham Wood, one of the few sides in that top half of the league to have actually picked up more points on the road than they have at home. And because of the way they set up, they can soak up pressure and they can hit on the counter-attack. And that means they're an incredible threat away from home. Barnet are going to have a lot of work to do to break them down. The key question is going to be discipline. Boreham Wood have got two good attacking players in Liam Love and in Tyrone Marsh, who they can play up to. They've got Danny Newton available in the squad as well. So well-rehearsed National League players who can hold the ball up and take that pressure off them. Based on the Boxing Day game though, the big question is, can they keep 11 on the pitch and can they keep Barnet out? Because Barnet one of the few sides to have scored against Boreham Wood in both games this season. It's going to be a real tasty match. It's going to be a really close match. Do you know what? I really wouldn't be surprised if this was level after 90 minutes. I know that when we go to our championship predictions every week, the championship's favourite scoreline is 1-1. I would not be shocked to see that score after 90. I think this one could go all the way, you know. I'm going to go, and it's a bold start to the predictions. I'm going for penalty kicks. Barnet have got a goal threat. Boreham Wood are solid at the back. I think they cancel each other out, but I've got to go for someone to win on penalties. And I think I'm going to edge for Boreham Wood. I just think they're going to frustrate Barnet in this game. If anything, we know Boreham Wood can rise to the big occasion over the last couple of years. For Barnet, this is a new experience. Boreham Wood were in the playoffs last year. I'm going to go for Boreham Wood on penalties, but of course it's a lottery when you get to that stage. I'm picking someone because you have to. I'm convinced that after 90 minutes, this will be a draw. So 1-1, and then I'm going for Boreham Wood on penalties. The second game is another very interesting one as 4th place Woking face 7th place Bromley. Of course, with Bromley and Boreham Wood swapping on the final day, it could have been very different on this occasion. For Bromley, they come into this in really decent form. 6 unbeaten, 4 1-all draws in that spell as well. Do I go for 1-all in both fixtures? For Woking, 2 wins in their last 3 against Gateshead and Solihull. Some good results in there. And the games they have lost, to be fair. At home to Halifax, a narrow defeat. And a very big one at Notts County, but most sides have lost there this year. It's a very interesting one for a couple of reasons though, because again, I mentioned Boreham Wood's away record. Well, Woking might have wished this game was away from home because they're one of the other few sides, and in fact, I think they are the only two, who have got a better away record in that top half. They picked up 42 points on the road, just 40 at home, but they do tend to win games more convincingly at home when they do. They've scored 38 goals at home, only letting 24, whereas Bromley, just a solid side, a lot of draws as a result. I can't speak highly enough of the jobs both managers have done, but in particular Andy Woodman. Again with Bromley on a smaller budget, I sort of grouped them with Boreham Wood, both of them consistently overachieving. We were obviously there at Wembley on non-league finals day last year when they won the FA Trophy against Wrexham, an incredible achievement for the club. But again, their foundations are built on being very solid at the back, and as much as this year it's maybe not been the case, there is one stat that jumps out. Bromley have drawn 17 games in the National League, and ahead of Boreham Wood, that is the highest amount in the league. And there's no surprise that those sides draw a lot of games because they are well set up. And again, we saw all the 1-all draws. It's so tempting to go for it again. This is going to go one of two ways for me. Woking spread the goals out. They're a threat from set pieces. They've got experience. They've got pace. They've got lots of familiar names from the EFL in recent years, including a few former Luton ones, which I know. But Bromley have got Michael Cheek, they've got that target man presence, and they do try to play some good football at times as well. For me, it's either a heavy Woking win, or it's a draw. Now, Woking did the double against Bromley in the league, and I wonder whether they're just going to have too much for this opposition. We know Bromley are a good side, we know they can keep it tight, but I don't want to sit here and predict 2 1-all draws, so I'm going to say Woking win this comfortably. I'm basing that on the fact they've got so much experience in the side, which can work the other way as well. But also the fact that they've just got a big goal threat. If Woking get a goal in the first half, I think they'll win it comfortably. If Bromley get the first one, we see a very different game because they'll sit back and they'll make it very tight. So as much as it's possible it could be a draw, I'm going for a comfortable Woking win. And I think they will make it to the semi-finals with a 2-0 win against Bromley. Let's have a very quick reminder then of what I've predicted. Barnet versus Boreham Wood on Tuesday night. Hopefully I'll be there with some match action. That one I'm going to go all the way with a 1-all draw and all the way to penalties. And then Woking, a comfortable win against Bromley, 2-0 on Wednesday night. And both of those games are live on BT Sport. So if you can't get to the games, give them a watch. The National League is always brilliant coverage. And it's always exciting as well. Last year's playoffs, remember Wrexham Grimsby, it was some stunning games in there. And hopefully we'll get the same this time around as neutrals. If you did enjoy these predictions though, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think the scores will be? Who do you want to win the playoffs? Of course, a lot of people saying it's only fair if Notts County win it given the points totalled, but there are 5 teams trying to spoil that party. Do you think any of these 4 can? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for regular content from the podcast. We'll have predictions from the semi-final and final as well, in addition to all of the EFL ones, and final day championship predictions not far away either. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my mini preview. I hope you enjoyed the 2 games as well. I'll see you later in the week for the semi-final predictions.